Hello, this is Andre, and I want to say thank you for coming back. And this session, we're going to talk about this notion of facile in terms of making it easy. And so, but before we get into that, I do want to remind you to please hit like and subscribe if you like the content that we're making. It not only does it encourage us, but it lets us know the kinds of things we should repeat or do more of, and less of the stuff that we should stay away from. So I want to say thank you for joining us in this conversation about making it easy, facile. So when we think about this notion of facile, one of the things I want us to remember is that facile is the Spanish or Latin word for easy. And so, as facilitators of a group, it is our job to make the group's work easy. So what that means is as questions come in, we give those back to the group. We create environments where the group does the work. This is where the difference between like a trainer and a facilitator kind of comes in, right? So a trainer has some content that they are going to deliver to open and empty vessels, so to speak, right? Where a facilitator actually drives a process. They create the environment, the atmosphere for group or in some cases individual learning to happen, but they don't necessarily have the all of the answers. The answers lie within the group, but the group just needs someone to help them along. And so that's why the facilitator, facile, is about making the group's work easy. And so there's a mnemonic device that I like to use, and it's simply easy. ASY, easy. So my job is not to do the work for the group. And here's the difference between kind of like a trainer or a teacher versus a facilitator. So as questions come to the facilitator, well, as questions come to the teacher, there's an answer. To the instructor, there's a skill that needs to be learned and developed, and so they have the answer to that particular dilemma. For the facilitator takes those questions and gives it back to the group because it is about the development of the critical thinking, of the empathy, of these kind of interpersonal skills that you cannot train. You must facilitate so that people have their own aha moments, their own moments of learning, either as a group or as an individual. And so, so easy, this mnemonic device helps us to kind of get to that. And so the basic parts of this easy is that as a facilitator, it's my responsibility to elicit responses from everyone in the group. And so there are a number of different kinds of ways to do that. We'll go through more in facilitation techniques later, but part of your job is to elicit responses from everyone in the group. And so those responses can come in a number of different ways. It can be, raise your hand if you agree or don't agree with these particular ground rules or norms, or name a time when you have, right? So you elicit responses. Sometimes it's writing down. Having people write down their responses to a prompt and collecting those cards and reading those. But you want to make sure that you engage everyone in the group because it is the collective ideas that matter, right? And then next is to ask open-ended questions. So questions that stop conversation, like yes or no questions, don't actually lead us to the development of critical thinking or of skills or the opportunity to practice skills. So you want to ask open-ended questions. Next, as a facilitator, you want to summarize what you've heard and give it back to the group, particularly if there's some ambiguity or some points that people have made that may not necessarily be clear. And you can read a group by saying that. You'll see furrowed brows or maybe confused looks, or maybe someone isn't as articulate as they desire. And so as a facilitator, you take what you've heard, you summarize that and give it back to the group, both for clarity, for fact checking, as well as for more discussion. And then lastly, it is your responsibility as the facilitator to set the stage, right? And so you not only set the ground rules, but you model those ground rules. You bring people back to the ground rules when they may have gone astray. And so when we think about this idea of being a facilitator, that it is our work to make the groups work easy. It is our job to make the group works easy. It's not an easy task, right? I want to say, but if you think about the process using that mnemonic device of easy, you will have groups that will ultimately reach the goal that you have for them as a facilitator, or the goals that they've set for themselves. And so with that, I want to say thank you so much for joining us, talking about how to make the groups work easy. We'll do more on more in-depth facilitation techniques, but we'll just leave that with you today. Please remember to like and subscribe. If you're picking up what we're putting down, please like and subscribe. We really appreciate the feedback, and talk to us, right? Talk to us as we engage in these pieces. And again, my name is Andre Koen. I want to say thank you so much for engaging with us around how to use facile to make the groups work easy. My name is Andre Koen. I want to say thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing who you become.